What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today's episode was going to be epic. It was going to be so cool. I was so excited to film it, but that did not happen. I went to the chiropractor today, the Upper Cervical Chiropractic Center in Morrilton, Arkansas. One of my clients went to school with the practitioner there, the doctor there, Dr. York. So he hooked me up with him. I went there to get a procedure done, and I was super excited to film everything so I can kind of walk you through what all I've learned, like have the x-rays filmed, have the procedure filmed, have everything filmed so I can kind of just illustrate that to y'all. But that did not happen because since it was my first time there, he wanted to just not have the camera, which I respect, I understand, but it was frustrating nonetheless because I wanted to be able to have some good vlog content for the day. So I'm just kind of having to relay what I've learned while I was there right now via the camera. I have an x-ray. This is not my x-ray. I was also trying to get my x-rays emailed to me so I can show you what my skeletal structure looked like. But according to HIPAA regulations, they can't send x-rays via email. So this is just a random person that I found on the internet, but I can use it for illustrative purposes. Basically, upper cervical chiropractic services involve basically aligning that upper C1 or atlas vertebrae. So that is the first vertebrae just beneath the skull, and it's like a ring almost. Like it does not flex with the rest of the vertebrae. Basically your skull and that flex and turn, but that does not turn just beneath the skull, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm probably butchering this, so any of y'all chiropractors that are watching this are making fun of me right now. But basically, the whole concept and philosophy behind this is, you know, you go to a normal chiropractic service and they put you on a table and bend you and bust you and move things all around. This is much more precise in the sense that they're only manipulating that one vertebra just beneath the skull. So they x-rayed me. They did Crystal too. She's gonna kind of tell her story here in a little bit, but they x-rayed me, and then they determined they had all these. They pulled it up on a computer screen, and they used geometry to figure out, you know, where the asymmetrical lines are, where I'm out of balance, how my shoulders are in alignment with where my shoulders should be in alignment, and basically once they figure out that, they put you on this table and they move all this equipment around to generate a pinpoint precision movement. My phone's ringing right now. Anyways, they put you on this table, have you do basically they lay you down so that your head is on this this supported, like, not really a pillow, but like this pad, so that vertebrae is suspended loosely and can be adjusted. Then they have this swing arm and this bolt. Basically it's like a bolt, and they position that bolt just to whatever side and angle of your C1 vertebrae that it needs to be hit from. Then they hit that vertebrae, and it's like super gentle. Like, it sounds kind of crazy to be, you know, driving a bolt into your most sensitive vertebrae, but it did not hurt at all. I mean, I literally could flick myself harder than that bolt hit me. But after that, they stick you in the x-ray again and see how those geometrical lines have pivoted, have moved, etc., etc. So he did that to me, got everything closer to alignment, and then he wants to see me back on Monday and Thursday of next week to see if it's holding or if it needs to be realigned again. And the theory behind all of this is that if you adjust this C1 atlas vertebrae, everything else follows suit, and your hips and your pelvis will all be in alignment. All your vertebrae will be in alignment. Everything will be good to go. Again, I wish I had my actual x-ray to show you because there was a couple oddities with mine. He said that I had like some trauma at some point in my life because a couple of these vertebrae, I think C3 through C5, I believe he said, were all like condensed and jacked up, like I had been compressed or something. So I'm not really sure when in my life I could have done that, but that's what the x-ray showed. I've also got a couple calcification burrs in those C3 through C5 vertebrae because of that trauma. So pretty interesting. I did not know what that would have been from, but interesting nonetheless. And a proper spine should bend a little bit like that, That's how it should look. Mine is much more upright in those C3 to probably C7 vertebrae. So what I need to do is basically lay flat on a hard surface with like a rolled up towel or something beneath my neck, so that I'm kind of working on protruding my neck forward and improving that alignment. So that's something I need to work on. And that's basically what I learned. Crystal's gonna share her thoughts real quick because she's got some interesting findings as well.
My turn. All right, so, by the way, those are not burrs, they're called spurs, if anybody was wondering. So my situation's pretty much the same as Robert's as far as this is supposed to be a little bit curved and mine is a little bit more straight. Robert's is significantly more straight than mine is, so we both are going through the same practice of having to roll the towel behind our heads and lay there for 15-20 minutes a day. And then my shoulders were pretty far off. Even after he adjusted me, they were still kind of far off. I kind of mentioned to him about some previous scoliosis. He tended to not believe that. So, but Robert's shoulders kind of went back to somewhat decent. Mine did not go back, so we might look into that more in the future. I don't know. Also, what was that? I don't think it was a calcium. The spurs are calcium. But I have this weird little spot.
Yeah, so Crystal's got this weird oddity.
Yeah, it's like, he said that only like 11% of the population actually have it. But it comes out like right here. And
which is, by the way, that's where you've got an artery that runs up down the back through all these vertebrae into your skull. That's one of the main deliveries for blood to your brain. And that spur is basically wrapping around Crystal's artery.
So that's cool. But I don't really know how to prevent it. We didn't really talk a whole lot about it. He said that most people with that find that they have headaches and that becomes an issue for them. But so far for me, it has not been an issue. We don't know why I have it. But as long as it's not an issue, I don't really see a reason to try and fix it. I also have some spurs as well. Mine are mostly on the front side, so Robert's are a little bit worse as well. His are going back into his spine, so right where his nerves and stuff are, so you really don't want those to grow anymore. Mine are on the front side, so I can actually kind of adjust that with straight, or actually curving out my neck a little bit more. So Robert sucks more than I do.
That's all the video time you get.
He doesn't suck more than I do, but he is a little bit worse off than me.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the premise of what we had to talk about. Again, I apologize that this was not much more in depth and like front line with this actually in the camera in the operating room, getting the bolt to the neck and all that stuff. He didn't want the camera in there, so just a talking video today, ladies and gentlemen.
But it was pretty cool, and it did show me, he was kind of mentioning, you know, right now we're young, like we're able to kind of undo the things that our bodies are naturally doing. So this is good, like this is a good thing that we went in now. Robert could really have, you know, his screwed up neck. It could have been a lot worse by the time he's 50 years old and he might actually be in pain, but for now, we're actually able to go in and prevent those. Also, my joints are better than Robert's too.
What do you mean your joints are better than mine?
He said that these joints in here, like yours are not as long as mine, nor are they as thick. So,
it's because you don't lift as hard as me.
Do you lift with your neck?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh, interesting.
So yeah, that's basically what we got.
Yeah.
Basically.
Basically.
Now, we're gonna take a picture for the thumbnail of somebody else's skeleton here.
Oh, we should just be like...
We should like get somebody else's skeleton that's like super jacked up x-ray and be like...
Crystal becomes a chiropractor.
Yeah. Alright, we'll see y'all tomorrow.